Ouran High School Host Club is fucking insane, and here's why.
Oh my camera!
The series starts with our main character Haruhi walking through the halls of this maze-like mansion of a school until she stumbles upon a music room. But it's actually not a music room, it's the club room for the host club. So she goes to leave, but the blinking plot arrow causes her to knock over a vase thing that the club was going to auction off to raise money. Since she's not the child of an international multi-million-dollar family, she reluctantly joins the club to pay off her debt. But not before we're introduced to the host club's members. First, there's Honey Senpai, who is basically just a ripoff of Momiji from Fruits Basket, right down to his infatuation with bunnies. There's Mori Senpai, who acts both as a stoic guardian and as a jungle gym to Honey Senpai. There's Kaoru and Hikaru, twins who are in Haruhi's grade and often talk in sync. Then there's Kyoya, who acts as the vice president of sorts but tends to operate most of the club's activities. And lastly, there's Tamaki, who calls himself Haruhi's daddy, considers himself the king of the host club, and says other stuff like this. Now, what is a host, you might ask? Or a host club, for that matter? Well, Anime Planet describes it as such. These characters are employed at host clubs, high-priced venues where male staff members cater to the needs of women and homosexual men by pouring them drinks and engaging them in attentive conversation. Some hosts may also have sex for money behind closed doors, and this is a club that can be found at a high school. And we are currently 4.5 minutes into episode 1. Okay. This theme of fast-paced plots continues in other episodes, but only sometimes. Other times, the story slows to a crawl to the point where basically nothing is happening. Take episode 5, for example. The plot is that the twins get mad at each other because the plot causes them to. Then, about 80% of the episode is just the two of them arguing and doing weird, quasi-related things while the rest of the cast awkwardly stands around and watches. Then, in the last few minutes of the episode, they come clean and say, just kidding guys, we were just pretending so we could get invited to Haruhi's house in the hopes of her trying to make us feel better. I'm not making this up, this is the real plot. The show also likes to get distracted with its own subplots. Like in episode 3, the premise is that the school is performing physical exams, but the host club doesn't want the rest of the school to find out Haruhi is a girl because it might threaten their business. Which, are students paying to be pampered by other students? Anyway, while the exams are taking place, it's announced that there's an unknown man disguised as a doctor wandering the halls. He's shortly found right as Haruhi is getting half naked and he spills the beans. He says his business as a back alley doctor drove away his wife and daughter years ago, but he wanted to see his daughter one last time, so he came to the school she attends. However, this is not the school she attends, it just has a similar name.
もしやお探しの学校は公立の王林高校では？
そうですが。
では学校違いです。ここはオーラン学院。娘さんの学校ではありませんよ。
This is real, a real show that exists that you can watch. But, as interesting as this show sounds, it mostly fails to entertain. Somehow, even with a character like Tamaki,
恋に年齢は関係ありませんよ。
it just can't help but be a bland rom-com with one-dimensional, over-the-top archetypes for characters. Those descriptions of the main cast I gave before, that's all there is to them. Whatever generic traits you could attribute to their appearance or description is probably accurate. Additionally, the series takes on a more episodic approach, which I would be fine with as many other romance anime do this as well, but while shows like Kaguya-sama and Fruits Basket perpetually move towards a perceived conclusion, Host Club leans so heavily on being episodic that it leaves the series overall as feeling devoid of meaning or purpose. And if a show doesn't have purpose, then why should I even feel inclined to watch it? But their classrooms are made entirely of marble, so the show's pretty good.